We're currently facing unprecedented times. As the pandemic sweeps the globe, we've all been trying to introspect on what we can do to protect our environments, but also to support community health and justice. Hi everyone, I'm Sair Mansoor and I'm the founder of Bare Necessities, and today I want to share my story with you. Newton's first law of motion states that an object stays in motion unless acted upon by an external force. Today I want to share some external forces that caused me to change direction. And while some of them could have made me completely lose direction, I want to share some role models and how I seeked to find some inspiration. We may all have external experiences that we face, but we must find the inspiration that will help us get through this, and lastly, to act on this inspiration. I'm merely sharing this because it's the easiest to relate to other people's stories. So my goal for the next 15 minutes is for you to relate to any aspect of my story and hopefully use it as fuel to become a doer. When I was 8 years old, I lost my dad in a hit-and-run accident while I was trying to cross the road with him. Utter shock and disbelief goes through my body for years and even does today. And sometimes when I think back to that night, it honestly reminds me of a crazy, scary movie or a dramatic novel. That night, it just rewrote the course of my life. And as contradictory to this may sound, in that night I found my albatross and my strength, and it really gave me direction in who I really want to become. While we were all healing and trying to rebuild our lives, I learned from my mother to just take action. My mother started working full-time. She went to graduate school, then she started working full-time, and she raised 3 girls all by herself. While we lost our family's most precious jewel, we've completely rebuilt our lives as a family of 4. And in my mother, I found my new role model. A new bond was formed that cannot fit into any conventional definition that I can ever find. So our action from my mom was to just work super hard and try and work and get those scholarships and maybe try and have those jobs on campus to make it all work. They never caught the person behind the red car. And to be honest, I don't think they ever tried. We were 4 women in India's corrupt judicial system. And even today, in our thriving democracy, there are millions like us. Women, minorities, transgender, migrants, I mean, the list goes on. Honestly, as an 8-year-old, and even today in my late 20s, I find myself really questioning the authenticity of our legal system. Why I share this experience is because it's backed by data that women will face the brunt of climate change more than men. So how did I get through all of this? As ironic and relevant as this may sound, I found my inspiration in Ruth Ginsburg. While I was in college, based on all of my experiences, I'm sure it's not hard for you to imagine that the intersectionality of climate action issues, environmental issues, and gender really caught my attention. Justice Ginsburg's contribution to gender equality is unparalleled, giving women the right to sign a mortgage without a man, the right to have a bank account without a co-male signee, the right to have a job without being discriminated based on gender, and finally, the right for women to have children and work. People, among various other inspirations like these, should help us all become doers and more action-oriented people. I think because of the accident, we all became far more independent, strong-willed, and focused on our life goals. I saw how that night shaped the 3 older women around me, and I knew that night molded me in ways that I can't fully articulate even today. While it may not seem directly related to climate change, the takeaway here is that we all need to find inspiration in things that are happening around us and to just basically act on it. Considering all of the information overload that we're all experiencing today from social media channels and fake news and unethical practices in the media world, it is so important, especially today, to do our own research and find out everything we know before we make a judgment. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, women produce 60% of the world's food, but own only 2% of the world's land. For this reason, what did I do? The experience that I had with women inequality and my inspiration through Ruth, my senior research thesis was dedicated to conducting interviews with over 100 women in Karnataka, ranging from rural, urban, tribal, and Adivasi communities. The goal was to examine the relationship between education, political participation, religion, age, labor force participation, and their attitudes towards egalitarian land rights. This year, it's been the Australian fires, the West Coast fires, and closer to home, the locust invasion, the devastating floods in Kerala and West Bengal. When I was younger and in college, I started to understand events such as the tsunami and Hurricane Katrina and the Los Angeles forest fires and extreme weather conditions, and all of this in its relationship to global climate change. While this experience was shared among so many, what really struck me was the science behind all of this. And as a college student, all the environmental courses that I took and the professors that I got to meet have forever changed the course of my life. So what did I do? I got involved with organizing and advocacy efforts. I took part in tree planting drives with tree people after the devastating Los Angeles forests in the forest fires. But most importantly, I was involved in the movement on campus to help divest our endowment fund from fossil fuels. It is as present in matters of environment as other aspects of life. Both historic and present day injustices have left people of underserved communities exposed to far greater environmental and health hazards than those who are privileged. The transition to a low carbon future is connected to workers' rights, to land use, and to how people are fundamentally treated. I learned this watching closely from my time spent following waste pickers, or waste warriors like I like to call them, around Bangalore city. I noticed all of the social justice problems associated with our waste problem. I mean, think about it. Where are incinerators, mining plants, landfills located? Who picks up the dead cow on your street? And who cleans the protective personal equipment and masks without any protective equipment themselves? The communities that are most impacted by COVID or pollution is not surprisingly the communities that are going to be impacted most by extreme weather conditions. And it's not surprising that most of the most polluted industries are located in their backyards. My action-oriented solution to our waste problem was starting bare necessities, an earth-centered and people-centered approach to our waste problem, to make zero waste education and living easy and fun and accessible. I definitely don't think this is the entire solution. This is just the best way how I knew to be part of the solution. According to IPCC, we have a decade to significantly curb carbon emissions to avoid catastrophe. But because of years of delayed action, we are facing an even more pressing mandate. We need to halve global emissions by 2030. But the emission gap between what is needed and what our current commitments are significant. Starting this year, we need to cut our emissions by 7.6% every year for the next 10 years to limit the warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. Nationally, we need to look at how we can stop mining, how we can reduce carbon, but also reduce other pollutants. We need to start focusing on regenerative economies, creating community cooperatives, and finding different kinds of economic systems that are actually possible, that support community health and justice. We must decarbonize our economies, shift financial flows, protect ecosystems, and adapt for a future that strives to be more equitable, that is aligned with Sustainable Development Goals. It's time for us to all come together to preserve, to protect the earth that sustains us. We need to go beyond just being social media activists. We need to build resilience as a generation. We need to be part of the solution. If you're eco-anxious and inclined, just get involved with environmental issues. If you're socially inclined, amplify your voice towards social justice issues. We all need to be doers. The world needs you.